grows mulch. It's beautiful. But we're never going to grow anything until we actually deal with our junk. And the fruit of the Spirit grows best when we pull the weeds out that choke up the fruit. And there's kind of three main categories to these weeds I want to talk about. And I need to pause here to say, listen, these things that we're going to talk about, they're legitimate. And I don't want to happy talk it or minimize it or be like, all you need is faith in God and then your life will be perfect. Listen, life is hard. Okay, and dealing with the obstacles to growing peace in our life may take more than just some prayer. It may take calling a therapist or a psychologist or getting on some medicine. It's okay to have Jesus and a therapist too. Understand that. We're going to grow in our faith and we're going to use good wisdom because sometimes we need help pulling up these weeds. So we're going to talk about these things that actually keep us from growing in our peace. And so let's uproot the first one, which is worry. Worry. How many of you guys worry? How many of you are worried about what I'm going to say next? All right, worry is potential trouble. Worry or anxiety about potential troubles in the future rob us about our peace today. It steals our joy. If you didn't know, anxiety disorders are the most common mental health issue in America. Over 40 million people, that's 18% of adults. That means every fifth person in this room probably struggles with anxiety. And some of us, again, we're overachievers, so probably more than that has anxiety. People between the ages of 18 and up. Anxiety disorders are higher in children. Children today, 25% of children have anxiety disorders between the ages of 13 and 18. That means these kids, if left untreated, actually have higher risk of performing poorly in school, of missing out on important social experiences, of engaging in substance abuse, and attempting suicide. Now listen, this is a really serious issue that we all have to deal with. The gospel isn't just about let's go to church and hear about it on Sunday, but applying the gospel helps us to heal broken hearts and broken wounds. And so the gospel comes along and says, look, this isn't just about escaping this planet, escaping your life now and getting to heaven. It's about the peace of God ruling and reigning right now in your day-to-day, Monday to Friday. Jesus is the answer to those things because if he's in control, if he saved you and has a plan for you, then he's in your future and you can rely on him and trust him to be there. If you know he loves you, then he can fight that lie that every possible scenario that causes anxiety will steal your joy. And this is just built into some of us. Some of us are just this way. We have anxiety. Okay, let's just stop this way. Something might happen. You have to go talk to somebody, and they text you, we need to talk. How many of you just lost it? You burst into, right, you're sweating. I'm sweating because I'm up here preaching, but if somebody texts me and says, we need to talk with no context, if Pastor Chris says, hey, call me, I'm getting fired, I'm losing my credentials, I think Erica probably came to him behind my back and said, I'm breaking up. Like, I don't know, but I've run through 37 potential scenarios before I go to meet with Pastor Chris tomorrow, and I carry the weight of all of them. Until the next day, and I show up, and he's like, hey, can you get my guitar from the shop? The problem with worry is we take every scenario, and you don't bear the weight of the actual future. It's this made-up thing that we create and we carry, and it breaks us down, and it exhausts us, and it's the thing that makes us feel like we can't get out of bed, and we can't move, and we can't do anything in life because it's crushing. It's crushing. And along with that, Jesus comes along and he provides peace, and he provides people to love us, and he provides doctors to help us, and he provides a way to grow in our peace. Proverbs 12:25 says, an anxious heart weighs down a man. It's in the Bible. Anxiety weighs you down, and anxiety can bring that disastrous effects. Worry is always a weight. It's overpacking for the trip. How many of you are chronic overpackers? Right, we went to Colombia last year to see one of Erica's friends, and we got to, how many of you had this experience? You get there and they weigh it and it's too heavy? And now you're repacking, you're trying to move it. Why do I do that? Because I'm anxious about what I'm going to wear, then I'm anxious about the weight, then I'm anxious about being that guy at the gate doing all this. And so all my worst case scenarios came true. That was beautiful. We overpack for the day with the worries of it because we're like, what if I see that person? What if I talk to that person? What if this person says that? What if I don't feel like doing that? What if I'm not capable of that? I'm like, what if I run into somebody from high school and they remember that one time I was super awkward? I'm like, what? You haven't seen anyone from high school in 20 years. But it's anxiety. It's a worry about the future that weighs us down, and letting that own us will crush us. And if we don't yank that weed out by its roots, it will keep us from living the kind of life God has called us to live. Matthew 6